This show right here felt like a sunny day, like golden hour. Like everything was gonna turn out all right. Not many shows have the type of certified GOAT status as this joint right here. It's not an anime, but it may as well be. It's not officially ranked as like the absolute pinnacle of fight choreography, but it may as well be. Iroh, he not really your uncle, but he may as well be. No. As kids, we watched it for the the action scenes, and as adults, through older eyes, we're able to relate to each one of these fictional characters as if they were like flesh and blood for real. And that's not easy to do with the entire main cast a lot of the time. You can give every character a backstory or a flashback and call them fleshed out. What's his face comes to mind? Your boy, your man Neji. He's a pretty good example. They hyped that man up, put him right there, compared him to the GOAT himself, just for them to put him right on a t-shirt. In this show, Aang, Sokka, Katara, Toph, Zuko, Iroh, Azula, Ozai, Appa, Momo, all of them, man, it's a masterclass in character writing. Now, it's not every episode. This is actually a pretty lighthearted show for the most part. But at its core, it's a show about a boy who wakes up to realize everyone he's ever known, gone. The premise is heavy. Just imagine how much the world has changed since you've been alive, man. Imagine coming back 100 years later, all the slang changed, the winners of the wars rewrote history on your punk ass, and it turns out you about 100 years late to your own damn destiny. So, today we're gonna take a look back, at a few episodes that to me were the most human, I'd say, I guess. Well, we'll see where it takes us. This beat remind me of something somebody told me in 3rd grade. Living gon' come with scars, you gon' need you some first aid. Live a life good as gold, you don't need to see first place. 2nd place just as good, toasted up on your birthday. It's mouth through the worst day. Love this show. In the episode Storm, a storm is coming, a big one. Zuko's crew and the Aang gang are prepping for it. And I like how they characterize Zuko so well with a single sentence. The safety of the crew doesn't matter. Zuko's crew overhears this and tensions begin to rise, much like how clouds form before a storm, Over on the Aang squad, they getting groceries and whatnot when some locals learn that Aang is the Avatar. One of them starts hating because Aang was gone for 100 years, blah, blah, blah. He probably lost some precious family and friends to the Fire Nation or whatever. Despite this, Sokka still agrees to go on a job with the pissed off old guy during the impending storm. Alright, so that's the setup. And what does rain make you do? Slow down, be still, be present. So it's a good plot device to flesh out your main characters' backstories. We learn why Aang really disappeared and why Zuko was hunting Aang in the first place. We get a glimpse of their lives before they were, before they were who they were. We learn Aang was already cold at Airbender from pretty much the start. So we learn that he's already an outcast with no real agency over his life, even before all that Avatar stuff. So everybody seems to think they know what's best for him, and he isn't even old enough to really comprehend the scope of his role and what it means. So that's something Zuko can probably relate to whole time. Side note, this moment here where Aang gets angry and almost burns Katara is excellent foreshadowing, actually. So they decided to send him away because he was having too much fun and he needed to focus. And that's when he ran away. So he did literally run away. Got caught up in the storm, fell in the ocean, froze it, and then that was all she wrote till Katara came along. And it just so happens that this current storm is giving Aang PTSD or something, and it brings up old memories. That's good writing right there. If you're gonna set up a backstory, set up a backstory. So Aang really does feel like he has a lot to make up for, and he really does blame himself for disappearing. But if he stayed, he probably would have just been, taken out when the Fire Nation came anyways. And sometimes that's just kind of how life works. You never really know how life is going to turn out. His biggest obstacle is himself. So there's no clear path to where he's trying to get. It's like no tried and true method, making it easier to second guess himself, And that's why it's so hard, trying to be an artist or invent something new or change the world or reach the people. You gotta learn how to trust yourself while also being able to learn from others, while also recognizing and disregarding the people and the opinions that don't matter. And since Aang came into this new world alone, a world where everybody has they either moved on from him or they forgot about him, it makes the audience think, does the world even need the Avatar? And the answer is resounding, nah, man, I don't know. Zuko, conversely, has most of his conflict on the outside. Where Aang has the luxury of wrestling with himself, Zuko needs to get his validation from the outside, the people around him. Only problem is, they toxic. In Zuko's flashback, we learn that his father was the one who gave him that intense scar on his eye. And it's because your boy spoke out during a meeting. He didn't address his father directly, but his father took it personally anyway and clocked him with a fire fist or something. And it was it must have been like a signature technique too, because you just know he called out the name right before he did it too, because almost no one else in the entire show has a scar like that. His pops did him wrong, so already hella people can relate to Zuko, right? Throwing a crazy little sister and a wise but kind of sad behind the eyes uncle. Now you got a real dysfunctional family on your hands. And I bet that hits the nail on the head for you, him, her. Sounds like, from the audience perspective, Zuko should be the people's champ. He probably thought Aang was some wise old man in the first place, like the Avatar, right? But wait, Zuko can't be anybody's champion because he's a spoiled prince who can't relate to the average Joe. So they make him this layered and relatable character, put him on like a pedestal as literal royalty, so that we, as the audience, still see him as like something else. Regarding whether that something is good or bad, who knows. The next episode we're gonna talk about just happens to be the next episode sequentially. Cool. I like how that works out. But anyway, in the Blue Spirit, they pay off Aang and Zuko's backstory by throwing them together in an unexpected way. Aang needs medicine for Katara and Sokka, who probably got sick from the storm in the last episode. Yeah, that's probably what it was. Zuko learns that he's got some competition in his hunt for the Avatar, and he's outmanned and outgunned. He's a prince with no power, with no influence, and his rinky-dink ship really can't keep up with a real Fire Nation resource, The new guy actually catches Aang in no time. Guess who's coming to save him, bro? And he has to do it without Fire Airbender. Zuko comes in and saves him, but Zuko can't really reveal himself. And they make a pretty good scene, The action scene is underrated in my opinion. The Avatar gets it right every single time when it comes to that. That's commendable. So Zuko gets knocked out, and Aang sees his face or whatever. And after he decides to rescue him, they have a quick little heart-to-heart. They had to plant the seeds for Zuko to turn good early. Otherwise, it wouldn't really make sense for them to trust him way later down the road like that. I think random one-off episodes of the show's two opposing forces working together for once can be like a difficult concept to pull off from a writing standpoint. Like Naruto and Sasuke from that one forgettable movie comes to mind. Normally, I'd have more to say about this episode, but we pretty much covered everything by speaking about the last episode, The Storm. So, I like that. Okay, so I think we all kind of know what part of this episode we're gonna gravitate to, right? I mean, this was like the whole point of the this essay. I'll knock it out real quick, don't even worry about it. Toph and Katara hanging around, they put on some makeup, some girls say something slick, and the two send them packing. The opinion of yourself is worth more than the opinion of others, or strangers. That's easy, that's the moral of the story. Aang's story where he builds a zoo for all the escaped animals is kind of chill. It's always cool seeing Aang or anybody bend anything in his show. So I'm not knocking it, but let's move on. Sokka, he stumbles into a teacher giving a class on haiku. Haiku's kind of cool, I always like that. I thought Sokka was doing pretty good in the battle too with the teacher. They just should have let him stay. Why they throw him out like that? What was the lesson? With Zuko, I think that was the second best story. His story gives me real, his time in Ba Sing Se gives me real Emperor's New Groove vibe for some reason. They would get along, him and Cusco. I don't know why. Same energy. And we can skip Momo, nobody care. Appa's still gone. Now about this Iroh episode, it opens up with Iroh buying a picnic basket, mentors the local youth, gets robbed, well almost, makes a friend in 4 minutes, man, it's crazy. And after a long day of helping others, he finds a tree, and sets up a memorial of sorts for his late son. He burns like some incense and gives an offering and proceeds to sing the saddest, most somber song ever. It's a 10 out of 10, man. 10 go to scene. And let me remind you, they did all of this in about 4.5 minutes. And it's because you already know this character, you know. He's well written and built up to this point, and we as the audience already know that Iroh, we already know what he's all about. So his character had already been fleshed out so well that all we really needed is about 4 minutes with him to feel the weight of this moment. And we don't necessarily need a whole episode of backstory or any further explanation. Actually, I remember these short stories being a lot longer. You never really hear anybody knocking this series. You just had to be there, man, when you was growing up watching this joint on Nickelodeon. I think it was Nickelodeon, when it was still Channel 43. I think it was around that time, 2006. What was y'all doing in 2006? This video doesn't do it justice, man. I couldn't. 10 out of 10 show. Would recommend 4 out of 5 people. Oh, that should be 5, right? 5 people.
Hey, let them know. Hey, let them know. We out here. We ain't from here, but we out here. Hey,
get in it.
talk to 'em, dog.
Hey,
Talk to 'em, dog. Hey,
get in
y'all
it.
better listen.
Hey,
Those pops on the beat. Those pops on.